all about me. Okay, cross-legged easy seat or feet together for butterfly or lotus position, half lotus, whichever your preference. Oh, it's weird. Mel says it's not working. What if I try? See if I can grab her the actual link to the recording as well. Daisy, leave. Leave. I see you. Chewing on the strap for the spin back again, little rascal. Okay, please make sure you have some water with you, and like I said, any towels or blankets or supports that you need to be able to make your journey and your class feel as comfortable as possible. Right, one more attempt. Hopefully I can get her the link from here. Fingers crossed. Okay, if you need to have a little wriggle so that you can sit super comfortably, do that too. Fidget wriggle so that you find both your sit bones anchored and grounded and evenly distributed onto your mat. Okay, she's sitting down near the radiator, that's good. Ah, I can't get the link. No. That's weird, I nearly saw myself on screen twice. Send you a link, sad face. Okay, I'm with you now. All on board with you. Here we are. Okay, so we're seated. Now, if you've got one leg in front of the other, we are going to change this position in just a moment. But if both feet are together, you're welcome to stick with both feet being side by sides. Rest your hands lightly on your knees or on your thighs, just depending on how you're sitting, wherever it's most comfortable for you to allow you to stay balanced and upright. And then you're going to sit up tall, maybe take a lift up through the chest and a shoulder roll back. Perfect. And then here, your chest should stay high, collarbone elevated, tips of the shoulders, you're aiming to widen them. So we're really stretching out and sitting tall in the front of the body with a little zip up through the belly button, and then we're firm in the middle to help us stay balanced. Rolling the shoulders back and dropping the elbows down should give you a nice anchoring sensation through the back of the body. Maybe a slight lift of the chin, or if you prefer, a dip of the chin to allow the back of the neck to stretch. Now you're welcome to keep your eyes closed or lower your gaze if that feels more comfortable for you. If the knees are tight, give them a little bit of support. You can hug them here, holding with your hands or wrapping around with your elbows. Just watch that those two don't cause you to roll over. Now you are sitting up nice and tall. Perfect. Relaxing the elbows, relaxing the shoulders. Let's take a big breath in. Try and fill up your lungs with the biggest breath you've taken all day. And then let it go. Maybe noticeably the shoulders and elbows drop back. One more time, big breath in. And out. And then we're going to settle breathing in and out through our nose for the rest of the practice to help keep us calm and focused and grounded. Remember that you have lots of options, so if you need to take a rest at any point or modify a pose or take a different version for a transition, then you're welcome to do that, and I'm going to give you options as we go. Most of the time, the options increase in intensity, so if you're looking for a stronger version, then you can come with me for those versions, or if you prefer the first one or couple that we tried, then you can stick with those as well. Excellent. Hands can stay on the knees for a moment longer. We're going to tilt the head gently across to the right hand side. Try and keep the left shoulder low as you tilt your head over to the right. You should feel a stretch from the ear through to the shoulder. And then sit up tall, tilt the head over to the left. Again, feeling the stretch through this right side of the shoulder. Shoulder away from the ear. You're trying to create some distance from earlobe to shoulder point. Come on up, let the chin drop down to your chest, so you're looking down towards the mat. Try and keep the shoulders rolled back though, so you're really getting a lovely stretch through the back of the neck, from the crown of your head all the way to the top section of your spine, feeling like there's distance between the two. And then with care, lift your chin up, lift your nose to the ceiling, stretching from your chin down towards your collarbone, but just checking that you can still comfortably breathe as the chin elevates, so you're not having any restriction. Come on back, upright. We're going to take a full circle this time, tilting the head over towards your right shoulder, smooth and gently looking down, then tilting over to the left, smooth and gently looking up. Before we go the opposite way, over to the left, down to the ground, over to the right, and then upright. Perfect, well done. Now we're going to take both hands off our thighs and stretch them out towards the side, turn the palms up, breathe in and lift. Connect your palms, exhale, lower. Come on down. And again, widen the hands, turn your palms up, breathe in, lift. Palms together, exhale, lower. Breathing out. Excellent, well done. Now, if you've got a cross-legged position or you're in a half lotus variation, change your legs around. I seem to be stuck in the position, so I'm going to stay as I am for now. Hands onto the knees. We're going to take a couple of rounds of seated cat and cow. So what we're going to do is take a breath in, hold onto the knees, lift the chest forward, draw your elbows back, and you should notice the back has a little arch as you bring your chest forward. Breathing out, round over your hips. The shoulders come together at the front, the arms straighten, and you take a little lean back. So now the back is rounding. 2 more times. Breathe in, lift, squeeze your elbows back, chest high, elevate your chin, and breathe out, round. Send the hips back, roll over. 1 more time. Lift up tall, inhale. Nice, well done. And exhale, round the shoulders. Beautiful. All right, perfect. We're going to make this a little bit bigger now. Take the hands behind your hips, palms on the ground. Straighten your arms, lift your chest, squeeze your elbows and your shoulder blades together. So we're trying to widen the front of the body a little bit more. If you're pushing into your heels, you might notice your hips lift a little bit or at least lighten. And then you're going to come off your hands and walk forward, folding your body over your thighs, reaching as far forward as is comfortable for you. Lastly, letting the chin drop down. Let's take 1 more of those. Hands behind you. Lift the chin, lift the chest, squeeze your elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Breathing in and breathing out. Walk your hands forward, inching them ahead of you, hinging from the hips as you lean forwards. Great job, well done. I'm going to need to move you, puppy. I'm very sorry. Here we are. Off she goes. All right, you're going to extend your right leg now. Keep the left leg pretty much where it is, although if you need to move the ankle, if it's a little stiff, you can do that. Pick up your right toes, face them up towards the ceiling as you extend your leg, although if your hamstrings are tight, you can take a little bend or support under your knee if you need to. Have a little wriggle through the hips so that they're both still even on the ground before you turn your chest in the direction of your right knee. Breathing in, lift. And breathing out, lean forward. Try and keep the back of the body long. Hands can come onto the mat or onto your leg to guide you. Perhaps you even reach towards your foot with your right hand and to your knee with your left and try and separate the two. So a little push into the knee if comfortable, a little pull back on your foot if that feels good. And then you're looking down over your knee, leaning the body forward. Good, well done. Gently release. Come on up and change the legs around. So extend the left leg. Bring the right heel up and towards your hips. Flex the left foot. A little shuffle through the hips so that you feel settled and anchored. Turning your shoulders towards your left knee and then taking that lean forward from the hips if you can, rather than the waist. An option again is to reach towards your left foot if it's in range, and then onto your right knee, and then try and separate the two. That noise was the puppy, not me. Good, well done. Pause for a breath, and then lift on out of it. Nice. All right, we're going to bend this right knee now, and then bend the left knee, bringing both legs into a 90-degree position. So a couple of things to think about. The right lower leg should be level with the front edge of your mat, the short edge of your mat. Your thigh is then level with the long edge, giving you about a 90-degree bend in the knee. And if you can then flex your foot as well, so you've got a 90-degree bend at the ankle, we should have hip to knee, and then knee to ankle, and ankle to foot. We're going to replicate that with the left leg. The thigh, though, parallel with the short edge of the mat. The lower leg parallel with the long edge of the mat, and then a flex of the foot. So knee to hip, 90-degree, knee to ankle, 90-degree, ankle to foot. Turn your shoulders to the front edge of the mat. You can have your hands on the ground to assist, and then gently lean forward over your right knee. Take it as far as your hips allow, all right? So if the hips start to feel a little tight, maybe this is your range, or if comfortable, elbows can come further forward. Good, well done, very nice. Take a breath in, lift, walk your hands up. Slight turn to the left now where your shoulders face between the gap in ankle and knee. Lift up tall and then lean forward. This is going to be a slightly less deep lean, if that makes sense. So we've changed the angle for the hips. They might feel a little tighter. Hands can come on the mat to balance and support. And then we'll breathe in, sit up tall, turning again towards the left. So left shoulder back, facing if you can over your left knee, and then a lean forward. Again, it might be less deep. Perhaps you use a little anchorage of your knee or your lower leg to draw the body forward. Not necessarily down, but forward. Good, excellent. Sit on up, and now we're going to swish the knees around, simply changing direction by 90 degrees. So if that works, you should be facing the back edge of your mat. Left leg, parallel with the back edge. Left thigh, parallel with the long edge. Flex the foot, so we've got 90 degrees at the ankles and the knee. And then your right thigh is now parallel with the short edge, lower leg parallel with the long edge, and a flex of the foot, so we've got 90 degrees here. Perfect. Sit up tall, breathe in. And as you exhale, lean forward over your left knee. Take the depth as far as feels comfortable. If there's a difference between right and left, that's perfectly normal. We're aiming for the same depth, but don't force it if it doesn't feel right. Good, well done. Lengthening the body. And then a breath in as we lift. Slight turn to the right, shoulders in line with a gap between your ankles and your knees. And then exhale, lean forward. Remember, you might not come as deep for this one. Perfectly normal. Take it as far as you comfortably can. Trying to get all these anchor points onto the ground. Perfect. Lift on up and then face your right knee. Exhale, lean forward. Again, you might not come quite as deep. That's perfectly normal. You can hold on to the positions of your right leg to help draw you that little bit further forward, if comfortable. Good, well done. Lift on up. Bring both knees up and then just give them a little swish side to side. Free off any tension that you might have at your hips and your knees. Great job. If you need a sip of water or need to adjust any clothing, do that now. We're about to move on into the flow a little further. We're going to come from a tabletop position and then gently ease your way onto your front. So all the way down onto the front of your mat. Good. Here we go. So from tabletop, walk your hands forward, support the weight on your elbows, gently extend your legs, and then smoothly come on down to your tummy. Untuck your toes, feet about hip distance apart. Then slide your elbows a little bit wider, bringing your hands to the outside edge of the mat, and they should be diagonally forward and wider of your shoulders as you plant your palms. Elbows are up, and for a moment, rest your forehead down. So this might give you a little stretch through your shoulders. With the breath in, lift, but let the head hang heavy. So inhale, back of the neck extends, rise on up, arms straighten as much as you need them to. Finally lift your head, slight extension of the chin, and then tuck your elbows. So we're not having the elbows wide anymore. They're tucked in and under. You might even choose to bend them so the point of the elbow is down towards the ground. And then we're going to exhale and ripple back to the mat. So from the lower half of your belly, up and up and up, lower half of the ribs. The elbows return to their high point and the forehead rests down. We'll take two more, but a little quicker. So inhale, roll on up, arms extend, maybe that little tuck with the elbows pointing down at the end. And a ripple down towards the mat, elbows high as your forehead rests down. One last time when you're ready. Inhale, roll up, engage the back of the body, point your toes, send your legs away, and exhale, roll on down. Perfect. Hands can come underneath your chest, push the ground away, hips back, into child's pose. Take a long stretch forward with your arms, either keeping the arms straight or a little bend at your elbows to give the chest a little bit more space. Pause here for a breath. In and then let it go. And then we'll rise on up to tabletop again. Position your hands so that they're in the top third of your mat with the shoulders over your wrists before you extend one leg, pause, extend the other leg, pause. Hips in line with the shoulders, push the ground away, draw your belly button in and up, and then lift through the hips, push into your hands to send your heels back, and we find our first downward facing dog. We'll bend one leg and drop the opposite heel and then swap, taking a little walk. And this should give you a sensation of stretch and length through the back of the leg, from the hips down behind the knee, all the way lower leg and ankle. And then we'll pause, let the hips come, or the feet come hip distance apart. Now, if your heels are up off the ground, that's absolutely fine. Try maybe taking a little bend in the knee. See if the heels are comfortable coming a little bit lower. If you don't need the knee bend, that's absolutely fine. The heels can stay elevated if that's necessary. Then we're going to pick up the right leg as we breathe in. Bring your heel up and then bend the knee, but keep it high. So we squeeze the heel back towards your hips. And we're going to take 3 circles of the knee, high and wide, rotated. Try and keep your hips pretty much where they are. Use the range of your hips to let your knees circle. Good, well done. When you've done your third one, we're going to finish in the position that we started. Heel squeezing towards the hips, the knee high and wide, and then go back the other way. 3 circles, rotating the knee in the opposite direction. Good, this is an excellent mobilization for the hips. The hips might talk to you with a couple of creaks and cracks. Finish in the same position that you started, and then exhale, bring the knee underneath your chest, ripple your shoulders forward to a plank, and step your foot between your hands. Good. If you need a couple of steps to get there, that's absolutely fine. You can even use your hands to assist you into position. Perfect. Let that back leg stay straight. Push up high onto your toes. Left hand on the mat. Turn your chest to your right knee and send your right hand sky high. Now, this might give you a stretch through the back and side of your right thigh. If it doesn't, don't panic. You're not doing anything wrong. Breathe in, reach up high with the right hand. And exhale, lower it down, place it on the mat. Good. Push the ground away to allow you to step back to a plank. Nice. Then let your knees come down, untuck your toes. With the breath out, squeeze your elbows in towards your ribs and slowly lower down in as long a line as you possibly can. Once your tummy and chest find the mat, we're going to breathe in and lift. Keeping the elbows tight towards your chest and ribs. Lifting up, you can keep the elbows bent. This gives you baby cobra. Or if you're ready for it, cobra pose with the arms a little straighter. Just check that you're not sinking between your shoulders, that you've got that chest lifted with that slight extension of the chin. And then exhale, we'll ripple down to the mat, much like we did a few moments earlier. Toes tuck, knees bend. We push the ground away. Little tabletop pause. Before you lift your hips, legs straighten, and drop the heels back and down. Perfect. Let's take another little walk. Drop one heel, bend the opposite knee, swap it around, try and keep a little bit of movement. Feel that length creeping into the back of the leg, from the hips, down the thigh, behind the knee, all the way into the lower leg. Excellent. And then we'll take a little pause, picking up the left leg as you breathe in, extend it up towards the ceiling. Bend the knee to bring the heel back towards you. Good. And then we're going to take hip circles again, but on the left side. 3 deliberate rotations, using the range available at your hips. Once you're done, finish in the same position that you started, and then rotate the opposite way for 3. Good, well done. Make the knee circle as big as you comfortably can, as much as your hips allow. And when you've done your 3 rotations, finish in the same position again. Then on your out breath, knee to chest, ripple forward through plank, stay high, step through. Let the left knee bend, the hips lower, the back of the body lengthen, stay high up on your right toes. Perfect. Right hand on the mat. Turn your chest to your left knee. Lift your left hand up high to the sky. You can look up if that feels comfortable. And again, you might feel the stretch here through the back and side of the left leg. If you don't, though, don't panic. You're not doing anything wrong. Take a breath in as you lift high through the left side. And then exhale, lower down, left hand on the mat. Push the ground away, step back to your plank. Pause for just a breath. Before the knees come down, the toes tuck. The elbows come in towards your ribs. You bend them and lower down as you breathe out, landing lightly. Point the toes, extend your legs. Breathe in and curl yourself up. Baby cobra or cobra pose, your choice. Now think about broadening your collarbones. Send the tips of the shoulders wider. You might feel like your chest is pulling forward. And then breathe out to lower. Down we go. Great stuff. Tuck the toes. Push the ground away, let the knees bend. Once your arms are straight, lift the hips by straightening your legs and drop the heels back and down. Perfect. We're going to take a super quick pause. So if you want to stay in downward facing dog, you can. If you want to rest in child's pose, you can do that too. If you just want to kneel up, shake off the shoulders, roll out your wrists, and have a sip of water, you can do that too. Excellent. Your choice. Rest when you need to. Okay, so we're going to go on to the second section of our flow. Again, working right leg for a sequence of poses and then repeating on the left. I'm going to start to give you some options specifically for your transition. So if you liked option 1, what we just did, coming to the knees, you can stick with that. When you're ready, if you took a break, come back through your tabletop and up into downward facing dog. If you're facing dog, have a quick look at your feet. Position them hip distance apart. Aim to lower the heels. Remember, you've got the option to bend the knees if you need to. All right, let's go again. Right leg with the breath in. Send your right heel up towards the sky. You should feel a stretch through the back of the left leg. And as you breathe out, right knee through underneath your chest, shoulders, ripple forward, and we'll take a step or several steps or assistance with your hands if you need. Lengthen the back of the body as you start to look forward. Crown of the head and heel furthest points apart. And then we'll breathe in and lift, taking the arms up and overhead. As your fingertips come high, try and relax the shoulders so you haven't got your shoulders squeezing up towards your ears. Drop them back into their sockets. Thumbs are over shoulders, shoulders are over hips. We're squeezing front to back and we're letting our left knee point down towards the ground to allow the left hip to come forward. If you're feeling strong, generously bend your right leg. If you need to be a little bit softer, you're going to lift up and out with the right side. So find a range which feels good for you. We're going to take a breath in and reach forward with the right hand, back with the left hand. Keep the legs where they are just for a second. So you should feel this opening of the chest. Well done. Breathe in, reach up. And then we'll rotate the other way. Left hand forward, right hand back. It might feel a little tighter, but you should still feel a bit of an opening through the right shoulder. Breathe in again as you lift your hands up. This time, right hand forward, left hand back, left heel down. You'll notice your knee rotates, the hips open, and the shoulders turn to the side. So here, we have warrior 2. Perfect. Relax the shoulders, extend through the fingers. Again, we're drawing front to back, tailbone down towards the mat. Perfect. Look to your right hand. Lean forward, reach as far as you can, and then the right hand down. Left hand up and over like a little windmill. Lift your left heel, and then step back to plank. Perfect. You can stay on your toes for that stronger version, or drop to the knees for version 1, and then we're going to breathe out and lower down. Long line through the body, whichever option you take. Untuck the toes, breathe in and lift. That delicate curl up from the mat. Widen the tips of the shoulders, lift your collarbone, extend your chin, and exhale, come on down. Another option as you tuck your toes is to keep the legs straight as you push away. So coming up through a plank. But if you need to, come up through tabletop. Once you're here, the hips come up high, the heels drop back, and we return to downward facing dog. Let's take a long stretch forward with the arms. Shake your head, look towards your toes or maybe up towards your knees. Let the head hang heavy. And then on your next breath in, it's the left leg, kicking up and back, heel elevating towards the ceiling, stretching through the back of the right thigh. Breathing out, left knee to chest, ripple forward to plank, step between your hands, help your foot if you need to, left knee bends, pushing the right heel behind you, crown of the head forward, and when you're ready, we'll reach up with an in-breath, fingertips rise, thumbs landing above shoulders, shoulders landing above hips, belly button in, tailbone down towards the ground. The right knee point is angled to the floor, right hip forward, and we're just going to breathe here. Remember, you can adjust the depth of the knee bend as you need to. Reaching left hand forward, right hand back. Keep the legs in position for a moment. Feel the opening of the right side of your chest as you reach your arm behind you. Inhale, lift up, face the front. Then right hand forward, left hand back. Slightly tighter with a twist, that's okay. Hopefully still an opening here through the left side of the chest. Well done, breathe in, reach up. One more time, left hand forward, right hand back, right heel down. We find ourselves in warrior 2. Shoulders back and down. You can draw the little fingers back and behind you to help open the chest. Just watch that your tailbone's not escaping. You're drawing it down towards the ground. Left knee facing over your left toes. And to finish, we'll reach forward with the left hand. Keep reaching until the point that you lower it down. Right hand up and over. Right heel lifts, the hips pivot, and push back into your plank. Perfect. Staying on your toes if you prefer, or lower into the knees if you need. We'll exhale and lower. Landing lightly with control, whole body in one line, toes untuck, and inhale to lift. Find your version of the back bend, baby cobra or cobra pose. Squeeze the elbows in towards your ribs, and then breathe out, let it go. Come on down. Good. Tuck the toes again. Options, straight legs or bent, your choice. Push away from the mat, and then let the hips lift. The heels drop back, and we're in downward facing dog. Good. It's another time for a little rest. So remember, you can stay here, focus on your breathing, focus on the stretch through the back of the thighs and the shoulders, or rest in child's pose if you need it, or sit up, kneel, roll out your shoulders, roll out your wrists, have a sip of water, whatever it is that your body needs. Listen to it and adapt as necessary. Okay, we've got one more round to go with our flow, adding a couple more little tweaks and some extra options for you. So if you took a little rest, come on back, downward facing dog. Arms ahead of you, legs back, hips up high. Pause as you find your position. Remember to give the head a little shake, let it go. And then we'll breathe in, right leg lifts up and back. But this time, take a big bend in your knee. The heel comes back towards your right hip, your left hip, sorry. Right knee is high and wide. So we allow the hips to twist, open and rotate if comfortable. But your left shoulder, you're going to shift it away from your left toes. And then your right knee comes underneath you as you breathe out. Shoulders roll forward through plank. Stay hard, step through, bend the right knee, lengthen the back of the body. Perfect. Good. Once you find your balance, reach and rise. Take a breath in, into high lunge. As you exhale, right hand forward, left hand back, left heel down, warrior two. Beautiful. Just give the shoulders that little rotation, long and lengthen through the arms. Nice. Look over your right hand, reach forward, breathe in, turn the right palm up, and then follow the hand as you lift it up and overhead and reach over your back leg. Great. This is reverse warrior. Now your right knee, check that it's still bent. Adjust the depth if you need. The right elbow is bent and lifted, as is the chest, up towards the ceiling. You've got strength in the left side of your body because you're resting your hand lightly on your hip, your thigh, or your lower leg. Perfect. Keep the body where it is, straighten your right leg. This is reverse triangle. Now you might find the stretch intensifies through the right side of the body. We're going to rebend delicately the right knee, come back to reverse warrior. Good. One more time, lift up and out into reverse triangle. Stretch your right fingertips away from your right toes and rebend, reverse warrior, delicately coming back to this position. Perfect. Use the strength of your body to lift you up and over, long arms. Reach forward, breathe out, reach down, up and over with the left hand. Return to your plank, step back, knees or toes, still an option for you. Added option to pause on the way down with a little hover where your elbows brush your ribs, and then extend your arms again, lifting away from your mat for upward facing dog. So here the hips and the knees are off the ground. It's a little stronger for the upper body. If you need to, pop the heels down, the knees down, hips down for cobra or even baby cobra pose. Plenty of choices for you. Another option for a transition, if you're not breathing out, coming all the way to the mat, is to push into your hands, pike, use your core, then push into the tops of your feet, flip your toes when you're ready, and return to downward facing dog. So plenty of choices for you now. Pause in your downward facing dog. Take a breath in, give the head a little shake. Let your heels settle. All right, one last time. On the left side, inhale, left leg up and back. Big bend in the knee, the heel comes back towards your body. Left knee high and wide. Hips allow a little twist if that feels good. Right shoulder away from your right toes to re-square your upper body And then exhale, left knee underneath you. Ripple the shoulders forward. Step between your hands. Bending your left knee, the back of the body lengthens. Once you've found your balance, reach and rise. Bring the hands up to high lunge. Then we'll exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, right heel down, opening up into warrior two. Relaxing the arms. Great, well done. Look over your left hand, breathe in, reach forward, flip the palm, and then follow your hand with your eyes as you lift up and overhead into reverse warrior. High left elbow, turning the chest to the ceiling, knees still bent on the left side, soft through the right shoulder. Perfect. Keep the body where it is. Straighten your left leg, lift up and down, reverse triangle. Maybe the stretch intensifies through the side of your body. Breathe. Rebend your left knee, gently, delicately transitioning forward and down. Reverse warrior. Awesome. One more time. Lift up and out. Reverse triangle. Feel the stretch from your fingertips down towards your toes on the left side. Rebend. Sink down slowly. Good. Reverse warrior. Come on up. Warrior two. Long arms. Use the strength of your body. Reach forward. Breathe out. Reach down. Right arm up and over. Square your hips, square your shoulders. Step back to your plank. Options to stay on your toes, lower to your knees. And the added option for both of those is as you exhale to pause halfway down, just that little hover before your arms straighten, shoulders pull back, chest pulls forward, upward facing dog. Great, well done. Remember, you can breathe out, come all the way down to the ground before transitioning up or push into your hands, hips high, using your core. Flip your toes, drop your heels back and downward facing dog. Now we're going to pause for 3 breaths. If you're ready for child's pose, take the breaths there. If you prefer to stay in downward facing dog, stay here with me. You can stay still or take a little bit of movement, namely as you inhale to push up onto your toes. Hips and heels lift, shoulders shift forward, and exhale, drop back, let it go. 2 more in your own time. Take a breath in, fill up, and let it go. Beautiful. One last time, when you're ready, in and up, and out and down. Great. If you're still in downward facing dog, take child's pose now, knees down, toes touch. Reaching forward, arms bent or straight, forehead finds the mat. Let the tension sink on out of your body. Well done, good. Take a little check-in if you need a drink. It's there for you. If you want to stay for a few more breaths just to rest, you can stay there as well. Well done. So 2/3 of the practice already done and dusted and out the way. We slow things down a little bit now and begin to prepare the body for the final relaxation at the end. So as the movement becomes a little slower, if you want to add some warmth by way of a jumper, you can do that. Okay, let's move on. So from your child's pose, you can come on up to kneeling. Remember, if you need to roll out the shoulders, shake off the wrists, you can do that. And then when you're ready, pop your hands on the mat, tuck your toes, let your hips lift. And you're just going to take a little walk, feet towards your hands, hip distance apart or narrower, and fold forward. Now, some things to note, just check that you're not pressing back on your knee joints. So if you've got a tendency to hyperextend the knees, take a little bend through the knees, which will encourage the front of your thighs to stay engaged and strong while still maintaining a stretch from the hamstring. You might feel this around the back of the hips and lower back perhaps too. Your hands can reach to the mat, but it's okay if they don't touch. You can hold onto your elbows, let the weight of your body fold you forward, or if your fingertips are on the mat, just be careful that you're not supporting your weight. The intention is still to use your upper body weight to fold forward into your hamstring stretch. Take a little nod and shake of your head, and then let it rest really freely, really loosely on the back of your neck. Maybe you take a little roll of the shoulders too, so that they feel free and loose as well. Great job. We're going to bring a bit of energy to this now. Next time you breathe in, flatten your back. So inhale, lift. Your flattened back might still see your fingertips on the mat, or it might see you slide your fingertips up your shins, coming into a more horizontal position. Tuck your elbows, pull them back, crown of the head forward, draw the belly button in and up, and wrap your lower ribs in so you're lovely and strong. Great. Breathe out, forward fold again, lower, all the way down. And then inhale, lift, flatten your back. Halfway or coming up to this horizontal position. Just try and get the back of the neck extended a little, look forward and down. And then we'll exhale, forward fold again, all the way down to your mat. Perfect. Bend your knees enough that you can place your hands comfortably on the ground with the shoulders over your wrists, so your hands should be shoulder distance apart. Then we're going to step back one leg at a time into a plank. A little bit of work through the core, push the ground away, lift your chest. Now as we come into a side plank, if you need to support this position by bending your bottom leg and bringing the forearm to the mat, lower leg to the mat, you're welcome to do that. So we're going to keep the pressure on the right hand. Turn onto the right outside edge of your foot, left inside edge of the opposite foot, and then rise up with the left hand into a side plank. So here's your supported option. You bend the bottom knee if you need it. Now, if your feet are side by side and this is enough of a challenge, stay here. If you want a little more, stack your left foot on top of your right. Creates a bit more instability, a bit more work. If this is enough challenge, stay here. If you want more, elevate your top leg to about hip height. Don't forget to breathe wherever you are. If you elevated your leg, bring it down. If you stacked your feet, stagger them. And then we're going to take that top hand down to the ground. Find your plank, settle onto the balls of the feet, and prepare to go the opposite way. So left hand anchored, roll outside edge of the right foot, inside edge of the left as you turn and lift your right hand up. Same option. Bend the bottom knee if you need to support your side plank or keep both extended. If having your feet side by side is enough challenge, stay there. If you want to increase your challenge, stack your feet one on top of the other. Good. If this is enough challenge, stay here. If you want more, float that right leg up about hip height. Remember to breathe. Good. Now, if you floated your leg up, bring it back down. If you stacked your feet, stagger them. And then we're going to roll the top shoulder down, bringing the hand onto the mat. Good. Well done. Let the knees come down. Reach forward. Take a child's pose. Take the tension off your arms. Rock side to side. Breathe. Beautiful. And then we'll ripple up. Sweep your legs gently ahead of you so that you're sitting in the middle of your mat with your legs bent but in front of your hips. Great, well done. Grab a sip of water on the journey if you need it. A little bit more work through the core, and then we'll finish with the back of the body before the relaxation. Okay, awesome. Now, with your feet either connected or hip distance apart, your choice, you're going to slide your hands behind the knees and then sit up really tall as if there's a ruler along your back with the elbows in and low and then the shoulders back and down. Lifting up through the chin, you're going to take a little lean back, peeling your heels up off the ground. And when you're ready, lift your shins so that your legs come parallel. Perfect. Still staying tall. There's a tendency with this one to round and roll over. If you can, stay upright, elbows in and down, and you're looking over your toes. You've got the option to let go of the knees or hold onto one leg as you extend the opposite one. So same side, hand releases, bring it back, opposite hand releases. Or both together, both legs can extend and rebend. So play with us a little bit, see what movement suits you best. The challenge now is in the core, the hip flexors, and the quadricep muscles. Another quick check-in that you're lifted, you're long in the back of the body and still breathing. If you're working single legs, take one more on each side, balance out. If you're working doubles, final time, extend, knees in, grab a hold of the back of the knees, tip forward lightly, heels down, give yourself a squeeze. Roll your shoulders over your knees, a little hug. Beautiful, well done. All right, now we're going to make our way onto our back. Final section of a little bit of muscle activation. So we're going to lean our way down. You can use your hands to support you, or similar to boat, have your hands up as a counterweight. Roll down, roll down, roll down onto your back. Good. Bring your heels within touching distance if you can by bending your knees, hip distance apart, and your feet are parallel. Draw the belly button in and down, pressing your lower back against the ground, palms by your side. Relax the shoulders so you feel the whole of your shoulder area on the mat, the back of the arms from triceps to forearms. Then dig in with your heels to lift your hips, squeeze a little more, lift the lower back, push a little more, mid back and upper back. Float on up into bridge pose. Now this should feel really nice as a hip flexor stretch after boat, but we're working glutes, lower back and hamstrings. You're going to give the tailbone a tuck towards the knees. So we're lifting from the hips, not the lower ribs if possible. Otherwise it's going to come into a big back arch and we want to keep the hips nice and high. Knees still hip distance apart. So watch out that they're not drifting wide. Use your inner thighs to keep them level. And then a slow roll down from your upper back, down through the mid back, tuck the tailbone, lower back, and lastly the hips. And when your hips land, swish your knees gently, side to side. Good job. We're going to take bridge again with an added option, and it is only an option. It's a little bit more of a chest stretch, but a bit stronger in the shoulders. So if you know that area is sensitive, stick with the first version that we did. Reset your feet if you need to, knees bent, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone, lift again, pushing with the heels, hamstrings and glutes active, lifting the hips up and up and up. So you're either staying right where you are, or you're giving your shoulders a little wriggle so that your arms come closer in underneath you. Maybe even to the extent where you can bring your palms together and make a fist with your hands. You're then going to extend your arms and reach your knuckles towards your feet. So now you're pressing a little stronger into your triceps. Hips still high, tailbone still tucked in towards your knees. A little lift of the chin, make space for your neck so you can still comfortably breathe. If your palms are by your side, same checklist, chin up, hips up, knees still hip distance apart, still breathing. If you took the option to grab a hold of your knuckles, release them now, give the shoulders a little wriggle, make space, and roll on down, all the way from the upper back, mid back, lower back, hips down, pause, swish the knees lightly, left to right. Excellent, well done. We'll finish off by bringing the knees up in towards the chest. Take a breath in, lift head, neck and shoulders, look at your knees, and then open all the way out, full body stretch, extend arms and legs. And one more time, inhale, knees to chest, hands on top of the knees, roll into a little ball, squeeze, and open out all the way, lengthen, stretch through fingertips and toes. Let it go. You can keep your feet where they are. You'll probably want to adjust your arm position though. You can have left hand on your chest, right hand on your tummy, or both palms by your sides face up. Give the hips a little wriggle, maybe a little tuck, tilt and shift. Shoulders, give them enough space so that they can relax. You might choose to rock your head gently side to side and then pause in the middle. Maybe even the feet as well, rock side to side and then let gravity do its thing, turning your little toes down and out. Now let any tension, if you can, relax and release from your body into the strong and supportive ground around you. I'm going to sit up, so if you look at the camera, don't panic. I'm just keeping an eye on you guys. You stay on your mat. You're welcome to close your eyes or lower your gaze if that feels better. Or maybe you've got a little something that you can place over your eyes to just block out any light. And as the weight of your body is sinking down deeper into your mat, maybe you feel a lightness to the top half of your body, the surface of your skin, light and soft and gentle. All right. And I'm going to leave you with a little African proverb that was read to us when I did my yoga teacher training. So if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. There's that thought of strength and security and safety in numbers. You have your support bubble and you will get further if you go together. Although at times, if you are in a rush and there's things you need to do, perhaps there are some tasks and some jobs that you need to do on your own. But you're definitely not going to get as far in the long run without your group, your people. So go far, go together. Now, if you need to, you are absolutely welcome to stay on your mat. Keep a little bit of space and stillness for yourself. You're under no obligation to move if you're not ready to. If you are ready to move though, start small. Fingers, toes, squeeze them, stretch them. And then bigger into the hands and feet. Maybe you take some rotations through your ankles and wrists. And then anything else your body needs, whether it's another squeeze into a little ball or a big stretch like we did at the end, or maybe you fancy a twist. It's entirely up to you. And when you are good and ready, again, remember there's no rush. You can make your way upright into a similar position where we started today's class, with the legs crossed, or maybe the feet together, knees wide, or maybe you're bringing your ankles parallel and level with each other. You're welcome to have the eyes closed a little moment longer as you find your position. Perhaps you take a little shuffle through the hips so that they are level and balanced into the ground. We'll just check that we're still lifting up and sitting tall, a little bit of firmness through the middle, but then grounded down, rolling back through the shoulders and the elbows. Fantastic. Once you've arrived, we'll wrap up the practice by reaching our arms again, left to right, nice and wide. Turn your palms up, breathe in and lift up and overhead. Palms together, exhale. Lower down. Send your elbows wide, push your palms into each other, pause in the center of the chest. Maybe you take a little lean forward. Let me say a big thank you from me to you for your company and your efforts. I know there were elements of that practice that are a little spicy, but hopefully you had a nice stretch out as well. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, whatever it has in store for you. Namaste.